ever delegated a task and thought, oh my goodness, why on earth did I bother delegating? Let me tell you, there is a difference between just delegating something and getting it done and delegating it to somebody and getting it done right the first time. I'm going to come to you today from today's video from the perspective of the person whom you are delegating the task to. I am Tanya, a virtual assistant from Clearview Administration. A virtual assistant is somebody who works in your business on a day-to-day basis, but from their own location. I am going to give you 5 tips today to enable you to be able to delegate tasks to your team members, to another virtual assistant, to enable you to get the work done right the first time. Not only will this help you in your business, but this will also help me in my business. We want to get you to a point of not, oh my goodness, why did I delegate that? To thank goodness it's done. One thing has been now removed from my to-do list. What is the end result? So ultimately, when you're delegating something, the person you're delegating it to needs to know what the end result is. What exactly are you trying to achieve? What does the end outcome actually look like? There are occasions where the task is done multiple times before, so there could be an example of what this task looks like. Sometimes this could be a brand new task, something that's never been done before, and the person you're giving the task to could be the expert. So sometimes you don't even need to give too much information, but ultimately, the person who is doing the task needs to know what the end result is and how this needs to be presented back to you. So that is extremely important. What is the process in order to deliver this specific task? Maybe you've done this task before, maybe you haven't done it before, but if you have done it before, have you documented how it's meant to be done? Have you written a to-do list of how this is meant to be done? There's a system or a process called standard operating procedures. You know how often it's meant to be done, where the information can be found, how the task is done literally step by step. It's written out. You can also get this done in a document, and it can also be presented in a visual form, so you can have little specific pictures of the item being carried out. Or you can actually do some sort of video such as this, where you can document, you can even record the screen of how this task is done, understanding, and everything is right there for the person who needs to do the work right there in front of them so they can see it. If you know the process, share it. What information is needed to complete the job? So now your process of how the work is to be completed, now I need to make sure that I have all the information so I'm not coming backwards and forwards to you every 5 minutes. I need to know, where is the information being stored? Where do I pick it up from? Is there specific websites? Is there specific documents that I need to refer to? There's specific contact details I need to refer to? Is there passwords? Do I need to log in as you? Do you create me my own password? Do I get my own email address? I need to have all the little bits of information in order to make sure the task is done, not only to time and to deadline, but to also how you want it done. So ultimately, the whole reason of delegating the job is that the job is done and you can concentrate on something else. But as a person receiving the work, I want to make sure that I have everything I need, so that when I'm sitting there and I'm actually doing the work at my PC, I'm not having to keep going onto WhatsApp or to email to try and ask you all these extra questions because you didn't feed me with enough information. If you give me everything I need, such as a standard operating procedure, not only does a standard operating procedure have all of the processes of how to do it, maybe even a visual and a YouTube video, it also documents absolutely every single piece of item that I need in order to complete the task. Like I said, emails, passwords, all those kinds of things. And there's a wonderful tool I love called LastPass, where if you don't want your virtual assistant to know the password, you don't mind them having maybe the login name and obviously the link to the website, but the LastPass will save all of the passwords to every single piece of software that you have, and you can delegate that to your virtual assistant, and they will never have to know the actual password because it keeps it blank. So when they log in using LastPass, it will just put all the information in and the VA won't even need to know very much. So definitely check out something like that. Don't micromanage, but don't disappear. So once you've then given me the task, you've given me the process, you've given me all the login information, you've given me all of that, now it's time for me to sit down and do the work. May not necessarily be me, but it may also be another virtual assistant or another employee. Give them space, give them time to actually complete the task that you've set them, but don't disappear. Because if you've said to them on Monday, please can you deliver the work by Friday, Don't just disappear for the whole entire week if we need to contact you and we can't get you. But then again, don't be constantly sending messages, text messages, calling, emailing, Skyping, every other type of communication that is. We don't need that. We need you to be able to trust us to know that we can do the task. If it's a task you've delegated to someone and you don't trust them, then I probably wouldn't give it to them in the first place. You need to be able to trust the person you're giving the task to. Trust is obviously built up over a period of time. Yes, that is very true. But if you're going to be constantly over their shoulder, constantly micromanaging, constantly ultimately doing the task for them while they're trying to do the task, not only will you put them off and they won't learn anything, you'll just be like, well, what's the point of me delegating it to them in the first place? We don't need that. Nobody needs that kind of stress. So just allow the person to do the work, and if we have any questions, or you're also welcome to check in once or twice, that's fine. But if you give us the opportunity to do the work, then we can feed back to you if we have any questions. The final part is give feedback and improve the system. So the piece of work has now been delivered, you've now received it. Is it exactly what you wanted? Have you thought, oh my gosh, I really should have done it myself? The problem may not necessarily be the person who's doing the work. The problem may be that you've not given the correct information, that there's no example of what the final piece of work is meant to look like. The process needs to be refined. Feedback to the person. What is the problem? What didn't they do? How could they improve? As a person who's received it, who's done the piece of work on your behalf, I may also have a thought of how this specific way of doing the task could be improved. You've probably done this task a trillion times before, but by giving it to someone fresh or a fresh pair of eyes, I could actually maybe reduce the time that task is done. Maybe there's new software that is available in order to get this specific task done faster, quicker, much more an efficient way of doing it. But the way you may have received it, the way it looks, the way it feels, may not be the same way as the person who's received the piece of work. So analyze a piece of work that you've received, because it may not necessarily even be completely wrong. It's just maybe delivered in a different way, maybe in a more improved way, or maybe not. It's clearly something you need to take off your plate, not to take it back and to keep doing the same thing over and over. So by delegating, you're obviously relieving yourself of whatever stress or a task that you no longer need to do. So let's ensure we iron out all of the creases and make sure that this piece of work does not end up back on your plate. I'd appreciate it if you like this video, so ensure that more people get to watch this video and perhaps take some hints and tips that could help them to improve their business and to become more efficient. So in conclusion, delegation is not about losing responsibility. It's about giving someone else the responsibility to enable you to get clarity in other areas of your business or even other areas of your life. In order to, by delegating something, you're then relieving it from yourself and then giving that responsibility to somebody else. Have you noticed that maybe there's some areas in your business that you could potentially do some help with? I'm Tanya from Clearview Administration, a virtual assistant agency, and if there's anything that we could possibly do to enable you to be able to delegate effectively, enable to relieve you of certain tasks that are taking up a lot of time in your business, then please send me a message and I'll be more than happy to assist you.